Our key concepts for this topic is, well, let's just start off with, we keep the first number sign, change the subtraction to addition, and change the sign of the second number. So then once we do that, we can just use our addition rules. So when adding integers with the same sign, we add the absolute value of the integers and we keep the sign. So that's just like what we learned in 1.2 and then continued to do in 1.3. When we are adding integers with different signs, we subtract the lesser or the smaller absolute value from the greater or the bigger absolute value. Your answer should use the sign, whether that's positive or negative, of the number of the greater absolute value, which just means, like we learned in 1.2, that when we add with different signs, we subtract the two numbers and then we take the sign of the bigger number. So that's pretty much what this is saying. It's just kind of a fancier way of saying it. So let's do some examples. So this is just the same thing as what we were just doing. The only difference is we're not using a number line. So example 3, find the difference between, well, 3 minus 12. So we're going to first, like it says, keep the sign of our first number. So our 3 was positive. Then it says change subtraction to addition. So this is now an addition sign. And then we change the sign of the second number. So we're going to do the opposite of 12. So the opposite of positive 12 is negative 12. And now we can use our addition rules. So these are different signs. This one is negative, that one's positive. So we're going to subtract. So 12 minus 3 is 9. And then we take the sign of our bigger number. So our bigger number was 12 and that one was negative. So our answer is negative. And remember, if you want to use the scoreboard method, you totally can. So the negative team had 12, the positive team had 3, the negative team was winning by 9. So you can still use that as well. So example 4, we are going to keep the sign of our first number. So this is negative 8. We change our subtraction to addition, and then we change the sign of our second number. So this is negative 13, so we're going to do the opposite. And so the opposite of negative 13 is positive 13. And so these are different signs now. So different signs mean we subtract 13 minus 8. 13 minus 8 is 5. And then we keep the sign of our bigger number. And we always come back to our new equation that we just wrote. Our new equation is our addition problem. We don't use this anymore. After we change it to addition, we can ignore that one. And we're just going to focus on our new one. And 13 was positive, so my answer is positive. And so now we can also use our subtraction or our scoreboard method. And so positive team had 13, negative team had 8. The positive team is winning by 5. So you can see it works for both methods. It just, as long as you know that you have to rewrite our subtraction as addition. So what if we are subtracting a negative? When we are subtracting a negative, let's rewrite it first. So this is this is after I rewrite. So we keep our first sign, we change our subtraction to addition, and then we do the opposite of what's on the inside of those parentheses. So the opposite of negative 4 is positive 4. 5 plus 4, same sign, we add and we keep our sign, so we get 9. So whenever we are subtracting a negative, it turns into an addition sign. We just add the two. So minus a negative, you'll see I typically just do this in our notes. And that's because minus a negative always turns out to be just plus a positive number. Just like we saw above, we have plus that positive number. So anytime we see minus a negative, and you could have saw that too up here in our warm-up, minus a negative ends up being that we just add. So now I want you guys to do the try-its on your own. Don't forget to use these rules up here, these key concepts. So make sure that you rewrite your equation to an addition, well, from subtraction to addition, and then you can use these addition rules. So it makes it a lot easier if you do that first. So why don't you give those a try?